What's up YouTube, this is Tubedigga. In this video I'm going to take a look at time correction in the Akai MPC Live. So I'll assume most of you watching will know what the time correction or quantization facility is in the Akai MPC Live. To access it in the MPC Live, you'll see the symbol on the main page. Just tap that and you'll get the timing correct menu, or you can tap the grid editor icon and choose time correction from the bottom left hand corner. For this video we're just going to use the one on the main page, so let's get into there.
Yeah.
Now I've currently got my time division set to off and I've recorded in this beat, so it's a little bit sloppy, so we're going to apply some time correction to that and we're going to choose different options as we go along. So you'll see the timing correct type, there's 4. Start will shift any of your recorded notes to the nearest time division depending on what you've got it set to. End will do the same but a little bit differently. It will drag the ends of those notes towards the nearest time division. Obviously these are your time divisions. In this field here you've got the swing settings to give your beats that sort of classic MPC boom bap shuffle and swing. Shift timing will shift your notes forward or back on the grid with a range of 0 to 480 or minus 480. Window is one where people get a little bit confused. It's like a sensitivity control. Window basically ignores any notes that are outside of this 100% range, and it will put everything else on the grid depending on, again, on what time division you've set, which is governed by the main strength of your quantization. The strength is the overall amount of quantization or shift timing or swing that you're applying. So let's now take a look at the events tab. As you can see, you've got 3 options. You can choose all notes or all pads. Selected will choose the last pad you pressed, and it will show up on your pads. It will glow up red. And in range you can also see that the last pad we pressed is pad 2, which is our snare. And this also gives you the option to select a range, so a specific range in your sequence where you just want that quantization to be applied. It shows all your pad banks here in the same way that the program editor does when you want to edit multiple pads. So for this you can choose multiple pads to add your quantization or swing or shift timing to. So let's, for this video, just use all. I'm going to occasionally use selected. So let's listen to our beat again. Put the metronome on. So it's clearly off. Now, as you can hear, there's 1/8 hi-hats in there. The snares are just falling on the quarter notes, but there's some 16th note kick drums in there. So naturally, we'd want to apply the quantization that's most applicable to the content within our sequence. So in this case, it's 1/16. So let's choose all events and let's play back our sequence and press do it. And that's perfectly quantized our sequence. So let's undo that. If we choose 8th notes, it will ignore any 16th note kick drums and shift them onto the nearest 8th note time divisions on our grid. So let's try that. So it's obviously done a couple of unwanted things there. It's kind of made the beat a bit more robotic, and it's also shifted a couple of those kicks onto the same position as the snare, which is not what we want. So let's undo that. If we choose quarter notes, it will do the same thing again, but then it will shift all our 8th and 16th notes that we might want to retain onto quarter notes, and it will make the beat very basic and simple. So let's try that. So it's just essentially given us a 4/4 beat. Let's undo again. What happens if we choose a time division higher than the 16ths, which is the maximum time division in our given sequence? It's corrected it in the same way as the 16th would, and I would imagine 64 will do the same. So it's essentially doing a similar thing to as if you had it set to a lower time division with a lesser strength, if that makes sense. I'm not going to try the triplets for this video because I assume most of you guys know what the triplets will sound like. I'll leave you to experiment with those at your own leisure. So let's now look at swing. Let's undo, let's listen to our beat. So I'm going to quantize it to the 16ths. So now we've got our perfectly quantized 16th notes and the entire beat is quantized. Let's now choose a swing setting. For that classic boom bap swing and shuffle, I choose 63. That seems to be the nice middle ground value for that. So let's apply that to all. And as you can hear, it's made the kick drum sound a little bit more bouncy. Let's undo it for comparison. And let's redo it again. So it's just made those kick drums ever so slightly late.
Yeah, yes, away.
What I'm going to do now is erase my hi-hats. So we've got no hi-hats in there. Going to make sure we're set to 16ths. I'm going to return the swing back to 50. Let's record in those hi-hats and apply shuffle to those. So that's your standard 16ths. Let's see how that sounds now with a swing applied. And I'm just going to apply it to the hi-hats. And there you go, there's your shuffly hi-hats. Let's now choose the kick drum as our last selected pad and apply the swing to that, because at the moment they were unswung. So let's shift those kicks into the same shuffle timing as the hi-hats. So I'm not sure if you could detect that, but it was a very subtle change, but it did tidy things up a little bit between the kicks and the hi-hats.
You don't even want to know if I've had some oranges today.
So now let's look at shift timing. We've got our quantized beat. And what we're going to do is choose from the range option. So I'm going to deselect the hi-hat and I just want to shift the timing of the snares. Let's choose a value of 200. So the maximum is 480 in either way, positive or negative. I'm going to shift them forward 200 and that will make them come in late. So let's choose that. So it's obviously shifted those forward and now they're coming in late. So I've undone that. Let's do it minus 200 or minus 222, that will do. So as you can hear, that's quite extreme. Shift timing gives you that option to kind of just shift things around on the grid in a bit more of a finer way than using the time divisions. So as said before, window, I'm not going to demonstrate any instances of that. Just have a play around with those settings yourself because that's more of a sensitivity control based on the overall strength of your quantization.
I like it. I don't love it. I don't hate it. I like it.
So let's now choose end as our timing correct type. Let's correct it to 16th notes again. So this is our wonky beat. And let's correct that. So not much change there. Let's undo that. Let's choose 1/8 notes. So there seems to be a little jump there just after the first kick. There, just in that first little gap there. So let's undo that. Let's, just for the fun of it, see what quarter notes does. So that didn't take effect at all. I'm just going to try again, just in case I did something wrong. No, so quarter notes, it's ignoring it. So let's try the length, just one example of that. I'm going to try it with 16th notes. And let's see what that does. Let's listen to it without. And with. Okay, it has actually tidied that up quite nicely, and it still retains a nice, loose, organic, live feel. So based on that, I'm going to try 30 seconds. So to my ears, not as tidy. I'll just play that back a bit more. Sorry, I cut it off quite short. So let's undo that. So yeah, not much change there. I thought the 16th notes, so this is it without. And I'm going to apply this 16th notes with the typeset to length. Yeah, that sounds a little bit better to me. So definitely length has a valid place in our timing correct window. There's no point in trying legato. I'm going to try it just to show you that it won't do anything to our drums. So let's play it back. So yeah, that's best left for note length operations.
You like music? I love music.
And that's pretty much it, guys. I hope this has been interesting for you and shows you what you can do with timing correct. If you've got any questions or comments, please put them down below. Please like, share and subscribe. I will be most grateful.
I'm your boy, right? I'm your boy, you know.
This is Tubedigga, and I'll see you on the next one. I'm out.